You're tuned in to Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk, live every weekday on the Nation Network YouTube.
Oh, that game against the Minnesota Wild sucked. That was so boring. And there are 100 things I'd rather do than break it down. But regardless, let's get into things with the lead. You know it and you love it. The lead is brought to you by our friends at Soho on Jasper Ave. Check them out, sohoyeg.com. Back-to-back game days. Head down to Soho. $8 for a pint and a slice. That's a deal that can't be beat. The Oilers, they can be beat by the Minnesota Wild specifically. The Wild have now beaten the Oilers in 7 of their last 8 meetings. And last night was just a vintage performance by the folks in Minnesota. It was boring as hell. And it was, quite frankly, tough to watch. The Oilers really didn't get a lot of anything going. It was eerily reminiscent of their game in Minnesota from 12 days ago, where they didn't get a lot of quality looks on Marc-Andre Fleury. When they did get the puck to dangerous areas, they decided, hey, how about we just pass it around a little bit more instead of just putting it on net? Fleury didn't even look that good. There were a handful of saves that were incredibly lucky. It was frustrating to watch from an Oilers perspective. I want to hear your take. We are live on the Nation Network YouTube where the chat is buzzing. Bzz, bzz. I want to hear what you have to say about that loss last night to the Minnesota Wild. As always, we are coming to you live from the Sports Closet studio. You got an Oilers fan in your life? You're looking to get him a Christmas present, Sports Closet? Maybe one of those beautiful Connor McDavid reverse retro jerseys. They are fully stocked on reverse retro gear. And it is all looking good. Head down Sports Closet, Kingsway Mall, St. Albert Mall, or Sherwood Park Mall. We, like I said, live on YouTube. My guy Liam, your job every day is to set the light goal so the people in the chat have something to work towards. What's the light goal today?
Today's light goal is 59.
Why?
Because that is Leon Draisaitl's number and also the amount of points he's got against Nashville in his career. So if you add them together, his number is 29, not 59.
Yeah, okay.
You add them together, that's 59.
So
I think
29 plus 30 career points against the Preds for Draisaitl. As you can see, mayor of Smashville.
Mm-hmm.
That equals 59. And that is our process to figuring out the light goal today is 59. So hammer that like button in the YouTube chat.
Yep. And that's how many points he'll get tonight too, I bet.
Okay. Jay Downton is waiting patiently, but I can't get to him yet because I need to give you my 3 big things from last night's hockey game. Hello, Jay. Quick look. Give everyone a nice wave. We'll have more on Jay in just a second. But we need to do our 3 big things for Cornerstone Insurance. It is Edmonton's premier boutique insurance coverage broker, your destination, commercial, home, auto. They got it all at Cornerstone. 3 big things from last night. Number 1, I already covered it a little bit. Shoot the damn puck. When I am sitting at Rogers Place, there's nothing that drives me crazier than when people in the crowd yell shoot. I hate it. I think it's something that you do when you don't know the game very well. The Oilers power play can be buzzing and they're moving the puck around viciously and people are going, shoot. And it's like, you don't watch Picasso paint and yell paint. You know, let the power play do what they do. Maybe they did. We don't know. Who are we? But the Oilers last night needed to shoot the puck more. At 5-on-5, they got chances in dangerous areas and they wanted to just force a bunch of passes and make it look pretty. Not good enough. You got to shoot the puck. That's my number 1 big thing from last night's game. Number 2, Stuart Skinner. This guy goes 26 for 28. In 4 of his last 5 games, he has a 900 or better save percentage. But Liam, twice in the last week, this guy has had a game where his save percentage gets better, his goals against average gets better, and he loses the hockey game. They got to give this guy run support.
Yeah, like we spoke about yesterday, like he's giving them everything when he's between the pipes. And it's great that you can blow 8 by Arizona, but when you play the really good teams who are competing for playoff spots with you, you got to find a way to support this guy. And like you said, with your first takeaway, the Oilers just simply weren't capitalizing on chances they had. Like, what was it? Halfway through the second period, they had 0 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Like, come on. The goalie's doing his best to keep you in this. He can only do so much. And last night, he only allowed 2 goals on 30 shots. So Oilers got to help him out a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the comment in the YouTube chat from Tyler Mulick, who says, go back to the dry line. That's Dry, Nugent-Hopkins, and Yamamoto, and then throw Holloway up with McDavid or Draisaitl. My 3rd big thing, if you can't get shots, if you can't produce, maybe it's time to mix things up a little bit. Should they go with a new look top 6 tonight against Nashville? I'm going to say yes. That Draisaitl, Janmark, Yamamoto line got caved, outshot 9-1 when they were on the ice together at 5-on-5. That is brutal. It is time to mix it up. Listen, I know McDavid, Draisaitl together, it's fun. When they're on the ice, it looks like a power play, even when it's not. They need a different look in that top six, I think.
How did the third line play out? They were kind of buzzing a little bit.
I would leave them alone.
I would too. Do you have the numbers 5-5 there?
I can dig them up for you. I'm tempted to leave the third line alone because I feel like they're building in a decent direction. And as you can see, like McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman as a trio, they've produced pretty well over the last 5 games. By pretty well, I mean really damn good, combining for 26 points in those 5 games. But I think you need to spread around the wealth just a little bit more than you currently are. You talked about that Oilers third line and what they were able to do. They picked 606 together at 5-on-5. The shot attempts, Corsi 4, 6-5, but the real shots were 3-1. So they were okay.
They were fine. Yeah.
Not as bad as some others.
They look like they did okay. I liked what Klim Kostin did last night too.
Yep.
I thought he kind of brings a little bit of something to that fourth line. So yeah, maybe the top 6, just split them up.
I would leave the third line alone. Holloway, Hamblin, Puljujarvi. I would go Nuge with Draisaitl and Yamamoto. I'd go McDavid with Kostin and Hyman.
McDavid, Kostin. Yeah.
There you go.
Don't mind that.
There you go. That's what I would do. But those are my 3 big things brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance. There is a lot to get to, and I keep seeing him at the bottom of my screen, so I'm not going to leave him waiting anymore. Jay Downton is live in enemy territory. He is in Smashville. Luke's in the chat, says Jay's camera is crystal clear. Our producer, Alex, made sure Jay stood real close to the radio tower in Nashville, so his reception would be good. Yes. Jay, how is Nashville? And also, explain to us the getup that you're rocking.
Well, Nashville is always a time. Anyone who's had a chance to come down here knows that they call it Nash Vegas for a reason. The arena is just off of Broadway, which is just littered with a bunch of honky-tonk bars, which is just amazing live music, cheap beers, only good times, and hot chicken. So, no, we're having a good time here. What am I rocking today? Well, we're in Nashville, and we have Leon Draisaitl on our team. And he just happens to be the mayor of Nashville. So I'm coming and I'm letting the people of Nashville know who their goddamn mayor is. I've been walking up and down Broadway since 11 a.m. this morning, and this one lady actually came up to me and actually thought I was the mayor of Nashville. It was kind of funny. I said, no, it's not me. It's Leon Draisaitl. And then I pointed to the name bar in the back.
Okay, we're looking at these career numbers here, and I did a little bit of digging on this. 30 career points in 21 games for Leon Draisaitl against the Predators. Since the 2010 season, that is 5 years before Leon Draisaitl even entered the NHL. Since the 2010 season, there have been a total of 671 players who have faced off at least 10 times against the Nashville Predators. Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are 1-2 in points per game in that stretch. Connor McDavid, 1.59. Leon Draisaitl, 1.43. Draisaitl specifically has made a habit of torturing the Nashville Predators in the last 3 seasons. 30 career points in 21 games. How about the fact that in his last 7 games, he has 14 goals and 7 assists? Yeah, not a mistake. Leon Draisaitl averaging 2 goals and 1 assist in the last 3 seasons against the Nashville Predators. We've lost Jay briefly there, but he is now back. Jay, there's no reason to expect that Leon Draisaitl will not just step up again tonight and dominate this hockey game. All right.
Liam? Sorry, were you chatting to me?
Yeah, I asked you if you think Draisaitl. Well, I rattled off a bunch of Draisaitl numbers, and then I said there's no reason to think he won't dominate this hockey game.
The system still isn't perfect here. We need to sort out. Someone tried calling me and it kicked me off the call, so then I didn't hear what you're saying. Yes, Leon Draisaitl owns the city of Nashville. He owns the Bridgestone Arena. He actually has the keys to the Bridgestone Arena. And I bet you could go and look at those stats, and you could probably remove the first 3 seasons from it and really show some electric numbers in terms of points per game.
Yeah. Well, if you just go in the last 3 seasons, his points per game is 3 against the Preds. Connor McDavid is 2.57. And there's a bunch of guys who are sitting at 2 points per game that have only played the Preds like once. So, yeah, they dominate this team like no one else. And I do think that tonight there will be a big push from the Predators because they know it. They know it as well as we do. They get their lunch eaten by McDavid and Draisaitl every time they match up. I really think we're going to see a big push from the Preds today, trying to shut these two guys down. But what'll be interesting with that is it wouldn't surprise me if that push from the Preds, Jay, results in the Oilers getting some power plays and Connor and Leon dominating them with the man advantage. Because that was kind of the game script last year when they met in Nashville.
Yeah, it kind of got penalty riddled, and we took advantage of that. But the thing we can't forget is Nashville played in St. Louis last night and it was 0-0 game and lost it overtime. So they're probably pretty salty. So I do expect them to come and put in a good effort tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned it. A 1-0 OT loss. Last night was like a weird night in the NHL because there was 6 games and only a total of 20 goals scored in those 6 games. It was an all-under kind of evening. Saros did get the start last night for the Predators, 17 for 18. The Preds limiting the Blues to just 18 shots on goal as well. So they played really well defensively, but tonight they're not going to have Saros, who granted early in the season played really he was below his standards is how I'll put Saros early in the year, but he started to turn it around. Tonight you're getting Kevin Lankinen, an NHL journeyman who surprisingly has really good numbers this year. You might remember him if you're like, oh, that name's familiar. He was the Chicago Blackhawks goaltender last season, but he's put together some really good starts somehow this year, including last time out on December 2nd when he stopped 48 of 49 against the New York Islanders. So it's not going to be an easy night. And if we're talking a little Sherwood Ford Giant game day keys to victory, I will go ahead and say that one big key to victory for the Edmonton Oilers tonight is to get a ton of rubber onto the net. Kevin Lankinen, yes, he has the ability to be good, but he is not that consistent. He is not that guy. He is not Marc-Andre Fleury. Jay, I think if they pepper Lankinen, they have a good shot at winning this game tonight.
Well, they better, because they only had like 5 shots last night, so I think it's just going to happen regardless. So yeah, you got to get a lot of rubber on this guy. We need a win. We just can't figure it out in Minneapolis, so we have to come here pissed off and just lay it to these guys. So Kevin, I'm sorry, you're getting shelled, brother.
Rusty the Reckless Optimist is in the YouTube chat. He says he was expecting us to be 4-2 at this point in December, but 3-3 is fine. According to my prediction, the only change is we have to win 2 of 3 against Dallas, Calgary, and Seattle instead of only 1 of 3. He adds they can still be 11-4 in December. It is still possible, and it certainly is. It starts with getting a win tonight in Nashville. Chris is in the chat, says, I'm glad we don't have to play the Wild for the rest of the year. Amen, man. I am very happy to not have to watch that hockey team play again tonight. Dr. Gonzo says, go no mercy tonight, Draisaitl with 5 goals minimum. I don't even know what I would do if Leon Draisaitl did that. And Tyler Mulick brings up an interesting question. He says, how do we feel about Max Comtois? And you might be watching the stream going, who is Max Comtois? Well, he's a left winger for the Anaheim Ducks, 6'2", 210 pounds, 23 years old, and he's got 5 goals in 18 games so far this season. And the reason Tyler is asking about him, also relevant info when it comes to Max Comtois, would be his contract, which I had, and then it just disappeared off my screen. So I'll tell you about that in a second. But Anaheim Ducks GM Pat Verbeek was at the Oilers game last night doing a little bit of scouting. And sure, Alex, tinfoil hat theory time. Pat Verbeek sitting in Minnesota watching the Oilers play, and Michael Russo, who covers the Minnesota Wild, said maybe he's getting a look at one Jesse Puljujarvi. What do you think about the idea of a Puljujarvi for Comtois swap, Jay?
What's Comtois' contract again?
Pending RFA, making $2 million.
Then yeah, it's worth a shot. He played World Juniors. He's got some pedigree in him, and we're still like, Puljujarvi isn't performing points wise, so why not explore it? But should we really put our hats on and think, are we going one step further? You got Pat Verbeek, like anyone's available except for just a handful of players on that roster, given the season they're having. Who else could we be trying to pry out of his hands?
Well, a lot of
John
people jumped at this. Yeah, so a lot of people threw John Klingberg's name out there as like, hey, there's an easy one for they to go target. And we now have random cameos on Oilersnation every day.
Say hi to the people in Edmonton.
Hey, Edmonton. We're from Maine. Woo-hoo!
All right.
All right. Shout out to that random lady from Maine who's now a friend of Oilers Nation every day.
She's an Oilers fan now.
All right, she's an Oilers fan. And I don't think a Klingberg deal is happening right now because, again, he has a modified no-trade clause from the start of the year to January 1. So right now, like, Klingberg deal is not happening. $7 million cap hit. That would be very difficult to make work. And he's a right-shot D-man. You have Bouchard, you have Barry, and you have Cody Ceci on the right side. So unless, again, significant money going out to make that work, I don't see anything around Klingberg for Puljujarvi. Been a little bit of talk about maybe a guy like Dmitry Kulikov, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Edmonton was on his 8-team no-trade list. I think Max Comtois would be probably the best target on that Preds team. You get a guy, rugged forward. He's a left wing, which maybe doesn't work that well because you probably want more depth on the right side if you're Ken Holland, but he'd be a pretty intriguing trade target. Liam, what do you think about the idea of Puljujarvi? Go ahead, Jay.
Sorry to jump in. If the reality is that we're probably losing Puljujarvi, the fact you can flip him for an asset, I don't think it matters what side he shoots and what wing he plays.
I think something to consider is Mark and Carson have both come into this team and done well. Well, when Evander Kane comes back, you got to find that cap space from somewhere, right?
Yeah. So
if you trade away Puljujarvi for Comtois, like you said, $2 million?
Yep.
So then you still have enough money to at least keep Klim Kostin on the team.
Right? Well, it wouldn't be, just to jump in on that, it wouldn't be Klim Kostin who'd be the problem because he's league min. It would be Janmark who you're trying to keep up.
Okay. Well, I'd like to have Janmark on this team right now, probably over Puljujarvi, to be honest. Like,
that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, like I think that's probably the way the Oilers are thinking too, is if you trade away Puljujarvi, if you're trading for picks, at least you have $3 million to kind of play with down the road, I guess, too.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at it. You got to maximize the amount of money you can have with Draisaitl and McDavid, and they've pushed themselves to the cap, and if Puljujarvi isn't working, then you got $3 million to play with.
Yeah. Reed says, JP and Barry and a pick. What does that bring us? And I think it's hard to package Barry and Puljujarvi together in any sort of a deal just because you got to think about one, that's $7.5 million. Not a lot of teams around the league can afford that unless you're obviously getting some money back in that whole thing. But also, I don't think a rebuilding team is going to be itching to get Tyson Barrie, right? That's a situation where you would need to move Barrie to a contender for a pick and then use the pick to fill the hole on your roster. It gets much, much more complicated. Another thing that kind of complicates all this, our guy Frank Saravalli's down at the Board of Governors meeting in Florida, and it's starting to sound like that $4.5 million salary cap jump that we were all kind of crossing our fingers would happen. Sounds like that might not happen. The NHL saying they're going to be about $70 million short of squaring up the escrow with the Players Association, and that would mean the cap can't jump up more than $1 million unless they negotiate something. That is concerning for a team like Edmonton, who could really use that extra $3.5 million this summer with McLeod, Skinner, and Bouchard all needing new deals. So that's not great news, and it would also hurt the trade value of a guy like Tyson Barrie. I think he's a piece where if the cap went up $3.5 million, you would all of a sudden have some teams around the league who go, maybe we can spend that little extra on the offensive D-man who's going to help with our power play. He's a luxury piece at the end of the day, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that could maybe hurt the team a little bit as well. But again, that's a lot of trade talk. That's a lot of salary capologist talk. Frank's going to join the show Thursday. What was that, Jay?
Well, but Barry's also a veteran power play specialist. So if you got a team that's developing, and you've got, they've got a Evan Bouchard type in their roster that they need to cultivate into being their power play quarterback of the future. Like, how many more years does Barry have after this year? 2. So that's not a big gamble for a team that's on a rebuild to bring a Barry type on to help kind of mentor the kind of next phase of that team's plans.
I think it's hard to find a fit. Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I agree. Of course, it's making trades impossible, especially for the Oilers. Other teams seem to pull trades off all the time, but.
I'm a little bit surprised. We haven't seen a big move yet this year, though, from anywhere around the NHL. So Someone in the chat asking, why not swing big, go for Cam Fowler? He's got 3 more years at $6.5 million, and he has the right to submit a 4-team trade list, which means he can nix a deal to 28 teams around the NHL. That's not a target.
And
Spencer says
he's an American too, right?
Yeah, like he's not leaving Anaheim. If that guy had to submit a trade list, what is going on, Jay?
Buddy, Nashville's on and popping.
Live from the streets of Nashville.
It's a going concern. TD Force also just walked by.
Well, you get the lady on from Maine, but you don't get TD Force on the show?
He seemed pretty determined. He saw I was wearing a mare satchel, so he was probably concerned about what I was going to bring him into.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good content idea. Just have Jay live outside of where the Oilers walk in, just recording as they come in.
Well, I'm not far. It's just right over. Yeah, it's just down the way here. It's not far. I could go do that, but I think I'd be uncomfortable for everyone.
Tyler Mulick says a team like Montreal should look hard at Barrie. And yeah, that's a team that we've heard has had interest in the past in a guy like Tyson Barrie. So maybe that is a move they can revisit at some point. And Montreal is like sneakily in the playoff conversation as well. So it's not crazy. Rusty, the reckless optimist, I think Barrie is going to be a big piece for a deep playoff run for the Oilers this year. He stepped up last year and was a nasty D-man in the postseason. I think we need him this year. He's a big part of that room, I think, is something that even I overlook a little bit at times, and that's fair. They probably aren't itching to move Tyson Barrie the way that some people, myself included, feel they should be itching to move Tyson Barrie. I think they really like him in that room. So, yeah, we'll see. We are at 32 likes right now. So let's see if we can keep getting that up. We got to get to 59 because that is Leon Draisaitl's number combined with his career points against the Nashville Predators. So come on, hit it up.
Good vibes.
Yeah, sending good vibes. What time? Oh, it's 12:23. We got a lot of time today on the show, but you know what I can do is I can give you some line combinations for either side of this matchup, starting with the home team tonight, and that would be the Nashville Predators. This is a team that honestly lacks a lot of offensive juice. Their top 6 is very average. Michael Granlund with Matt Duchene and Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg, obviously, as you know, is the one big offensive piece you need to keep an eye on. He's their leading scorer with 23 points in 26 games. Ryan Johansson with Colton Sissons and Nino Niederreiter. Juuso Parssinen with Tanner Jeannot, who I know a lot of you would love to see the Oilers get their hands on. Not happening. Yakov Trenin is on the left side there. Cody Glass with Mark Jankowski and Cole Smith. The D pairings for the Preds are Roman Josi with Jordan Gross, Matthias Ekholm with Dante Fabro, and yes, this guy is still playing in the NHL, Kevin Gravel with Roland McEwen. One-time Oiler, Kevin Gravel, still kicking around. This is a Preds team that is very banged up. They're missing Mark Borowicki. Jeez, I butchered that. Ryan McDonough and Jeremy Lauzon. So this is a blue line that's banged up, and maybe that's an area that the Oilers can expose tonight. Jay, I asked this question off the jump. I would look for a different mix in the Oilers' top 6. Would you?
I mean, it's worth a try. Like, what do you suggest? Like, how do we mix it up? Like, we don't have much depth right now with our injuries. So I think you had mentioned moving Cost into the first line. Like, I don't mind that as a tryout. I don't mind putting Holloway on the first line and seeing kind of where he's at again as another test. The big thing against Nashville tonight we have to be worried about is you just named a lot of big, tough guys. So they're going to be coming out trying to smoke us tonight.
Yeah, my suggestion for the top 6, you can see what they're expected to line up with here, courtesy of Daily Faceoff. McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman. I would go McDavid, Hyman, Klim Kostin, and then go Draisaitl, Nuge, Yamamoto on line 2. I think that'd be your best chance to at least get 2 lines who can more consistently generate some offense. I think the third line is fine to leave alone, and then you would have Derek Ryan, Devin Shore, and Matthias Janmark as your fourth line, although it's tough because I like what Kostin's been able to do to that fourth line for the most part. He seems to be giving them some really solid minutes. What about between the pipes, though? We don't know who is expected. They haven't announced anything yet, but I would take a guess and say it's probably Jack Campbell. You haven't seen him now in 12 days. I don't think you want to play Stuart Skinner on back-to-backs, even though he's on a great run. Liam, I'll start with you. Would you go with Jack Campbell tonight?
I mean, eventually you've just got to turn to this guy, right? I think it's kind of lined up for him to play tonight, especially with Skinner playing last night and then on Friday too. I think you just gotta play him, and the team's got to play well in front of him, right? Like that's kind of the big thing too. So I think Campbell's got to be the starter.
Jay, would you go with Jack tonight?
You don't have a choice, but you also got to see where Jack's at. He's been off for 12 days, like you said. Hopefully, he's been working. Obviously, I shouldn't say hopefully. He's been working on his game to try to get him back on the rails. So you got to see where he's at. So the schedule would dictate this is where you put your backup in, and that's Jack Campbell. So
Ty Corp says 93, 97, and 29 should all center their own lines. Look at last night, shut down the first lines, and we were garbanzo. I disagree with that. I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is having success right now as a top 6 player, and I think you need to reward that by continuing to give him top 6 minutes. We've kind of seen at times when you throw him down on that third line, it doesn't exactly go well. His production kind of takes a bit of a dive, so I would look to keep Nuge. I think he's good as a left winger next to Leon Draisaitl. I really think that's the ideal spot to keep RNH. He's got 14 goals in 29 games this year. Don't bury that kind of production on the third line. I think it's a mistake to put him low down in the lineup. You run with the centers you have right now, which are Hamblin and Shore, and then when McLeod is back, he takes Hamblin's spot, and you get sort of a more ideal, more balanced look in the top 9. That's at least how I would roll with it. But we'll see what Jay Woodcroft does. Back-to-back games, it wouldn't surprise me if he mixed it up a little bit here. And I think I get the vibe that a good amount of you in the chat wouldn't mind seeing that either. Reed says he'd give Soup the start tonight. Joey is in. He says Soup tonight as well. I'm surprised he hasn't had a start in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been 12 days. The last time we saw Jack Campbell was December 1st when he gave up 5 goals on 30 shots against the Minnesota Wild. You got to get that guy back in the hockey game. We are going to get to our betting and all that in a second here. But Jay, Mike's VHS Treasures is in the chat. He says you got to go check out the Country Music Hall. What else are you doing in Nashville outside of the game? How are you feeling your day?
Yesterday I went to Topgolf. Spent a few hours there. That was great. Went and had I found a bar that was showing the Oilers game, and then went there and watched that. And then today, just kind of walked around the town. Found a nice place, had a nice green juice. Found a bar that's showing the Croatia-Argentina games. Going to be jumping in and doing that. But just kind of really sticking to kind of Broadway. There's so much good live music here, man, and I love live music. So it doesn't matter what bar you go into, there's going to be some amazing artist in there playing their hearts out. And so I'm sticking around Broadway. And I'm going to be having a hot chicken sandwich before the game, as is tradition. I'm going to go not to Hattie B's, which is the kind of big popular one. I'm going to go to Prince's. I'm a Prince's guy. The real people of Nashville go to Prince's. So I'm going to go to Prince's for a hot chicken sandwich. Then I'm going to watch the Oilers win. And then I'm going to Tootsie's, because that is the most iconic bar on Broadway, in my opinion. Which is right there.
Not a bad plan.
The purple bar right behind me. Tootsie's right there.
Great view. Okay, we're going to, before we let you go, what are your bets tonight? You going Oilers to win? They're minus 130 favorites tonight. You going Oilers to win, Draisaitl? I'm getting the vibe that's what you're going with.
I am going heavy on the mare. I got Leon over 2.5 points. I got Oilers over to win over 6.5. Leon 2 points. I've got Connor and Leon to score. I've got what else do I have? Oh, I sprinkled a little on the puck line, and then I went big on the money line. So I'm on vacation. Bet with my heart. Also, the mayor's in town, so you got to bet accordingly.
I like it. I kind of like going Oilers to win and Draisaitl to go 2+ points. That one's paying out plus 225, courtesy of our friends at Betway. Yesterday, the Zach Hyman shot prop hit as well, which was fantastic to see. I don't know if I'm going to go back to that tonight because they kind of knocked down the price a little bit, but I think I'm honestly just going heavy on an Oilers win, Draisaitl 2+ points. Liam, what do you like tonight on the Betway slate?
I'm chasing the juice. I think the Oilers will win, and I did it with a couple of parlays. I did Here we are. Anticipation. Boom. Oilers to win. Leon Draisaitl to get a point. Even
No,
money.
juicier.
Yeah, that's not
This is good. This is good.
This is the mayor
plus
of
money.
Nashville. 1 point. Yeah, okay, fine.
Well, maybe I'll chase the 5 goals like someone said in the chat. That'd be nice. And
If you can
then
find it.
McDavid get 2+ points. And the Oilers win. I think there was a couple of locks, if I have to be honest.
Anyone interested in Leon Draisaitl 28-1 to get a hat trick tonight on Betway?
It's not bad.
I will be adjusting. I'll be betting that for sure.
All right. I'm trying to find it. Oh, 3+ points. It's only 3-1. That is insane. McDavid's plus 162 to get 3 points tonight. That's like, how do you even justify betting that at this point? There's never value betting on Connor McDavid to just straight up do anything. It's crazy.
But he does it. Like, that's the thing. He does
I
it.
know.
Like, so like +1, you just take it up plus 162. You just do it.
I guess. All right, Jay, you enjoy Nashville, man. We'll let you go.
See you, boys. Go Oilers.
There you go. Shout out to Betway 19+. Please play responsibly. Yeah, I think Draisaitl will have a big night again. Like, it's just, I feel like Nashville banged up blue line. Okay. That's a slow blue line as well. Outside of Yossi, they don't move that well. Second of back-to-backs, the whole team might be a little laggy. I think that plays in the Oilers' advantage because it could lead to Nashville taking some penalties, you know? That's going to be one of my keys to the game. Outwork them on the perimeter and then draw some penalties.
5 likes away, Tyler.
5 likes away from the goal. If you're watching on the YouTube, make sure you do us a solid and hammer, absolutely hammer that like button so we can get to our like goal. Shout out to our friends at Sherwood Ford. It is a Sherwood Ford, the giant game day edition of Oilers Nation every day. Can't leave home or the office. It's no problem with the Sherwood Ford valet service. Can you even believe that? What an offering.
Quite remarkable.
Free pickup and delivery. They bring your vehicle in for service and can deliver it back to you when they're done. That's the kind of quality you get with our friends at Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Check them out. Sherwood Ford on Twitter, Sherwood Ford, the Giant on Instagram. Always dropping cool content on there. Also, shout out to the Sports Closet once again. Yes.
One like.
1 like away.
We need 1 like. 1 like for Sports Closet.
There you go. We hit it.
There you go.
Shout out to the Sports Closet. Everything you need. Baseball. Maybe you want a nice Chris Bassett jersey. If you're a Blue Jays fan, you saw him sign with the Jays. Got to replace your Ross Stripling jersey after he signed with the San Francisco Giants earlier today as well. Tyler is in the chat. Go get Blackout at Tootsie's. Why not? He also asked if Jay's just rolling solo. I think he's there with a bit of a crew. So watch on the broadcast tonight. Is a chance maybe you see Jay cheering in his mayor sash. I actually wouldn't be the least bit surprised if at some point they got a nice shot of Jay rocking his mayor sash with the Draisaitl jersey. It's very cool.
Yeah, I'm sure they're looking out for him. I mean, if you're on the road and you're prepared to wear that in enemy territory, I think you deserve.
Yeah.
You deserve to do it.
There's a question in here that I'm going to get to, but it's one of these things where we've been asked it so many times. I want to have a bottle of something right here and always just have a shot poured.
Okay.
And if someone asks it in the chat, we just take the shot, Liam.
I don't think I even saw the question.
Reed says, is Clefbaum ever going to come back? No.
Unfortunately not.
No, Oscar Clefbaum's not coming back. We're done.
Wouldn't that be something, though?
No, I just don't even want to. Messi scored.
Oh, did he? It's on the TV out there.
Is it on TV outside?
But we got it on like a weird screen, so I can't quite see the corner of it.
Should have put it on the screen behind us.
Should've.
That wouldn't have been distracting or against all broadcasting rules.
We would have got away with that one for sure. You guys can't see it on the screen, but we did add a little addition to the Sports Closet studio above the TV.
Do you want to pan up?
Okay, here we go. Get ready, Alex.
We're slowly filling out this studio a little bit more. We got old signs from Rexall Place. That's pretty cool. And you can actually see it's signed by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as well. Yeah, just get it. You're going the wrong way. That's zooming out, my guy. There you go. Now it's just out of shot. Well, this kind of worked. Anyways, hope you all like our cool numbers up on top of the TV that you'll get to see, I don't know, sometimes. We got this cool mask in here now. We got a bunch of game-used gloves. I think these ones, yeah, these ones are Ryan Whitney gloves. They stink, by the way.
I might have an addition to the studio on Friday.
Really?
Yeah. So stay tuned. It might be my hot performer of the week too.
I think we're going to update our Sports Closet gear as well. I'm going to go stop by. I see Mario and the crew. I'm a St. Albert store guy, but you can hit him up, Kingsway Mall or Sherwood Park Mall as well. I think we see a tilt today. Will someone be dropping the mitts?
Not Ryan Whitney, that's for sure. His gloves are already here. Maybe Clem Shady gets one. Oh, actually, maybe they would because McCarron was kind of going after some guys last game, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so maybe that's it. Because after Niemelainen nailed Ekholm, and then what was it, Yessi with Sherwood, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, it was Cole Sherwood.
Yeah, so maybe this is it. Maybe McCarron and Kane. And not Kane, obviously not. Nurse. Nurse is my bet.
Luke asked, who's the naked guy behind me? That would be Wayne Gretzky. He wore number 99 for the Edmonton Oilers.
May have heard of him.
We have a Ryan Smith, one of those McFarlane figures. We have an Oodle Noodle box. That's Oilers colored. Some OG Nation gear, or Nation beer, I should say. And yeah, that's your tour of the studio that we're slowly putting together. That's going to be a wrap, I think, on today's show. We hit our like goal. That is great stuff. Davin says, yes, he's dropping the gloves. Tyler says, Klim versus Janot. He also adds, hopefully Nurse drops him. He needs to be more engaged. I agree with that. That's going to be like a mini key to victory, is that we need to see Darnell Nurse take a step forward here and start to find his game a little bit. Because it's been a couple of rough nights for that Oilers blue line, and it starts with him.
And you know what, too? Like, he started all the year, like, pretty hot. Like, I thought he had a really good start to the year, like, scoring some goals. And then last night, when McDavid gave him that pass, he just didn't feel confident enough to even shoot it, you know? So,
yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We're all Team Nurse around here.
We are. I saw this yesterday. A lot of people picking apart that Connor McDavid defensive play. It was on the one goal where he kind of had his guy, lost him, and then Speck was going after Bouchard on that goal, but I don't buy that as well. Like, you can sit there and be like, the defenseman's got to defend, but like, also, Connor McDavid lost his guy. He is a great player. I am not sitting here trying to talk smack about Connor McDavid, Liam. He's great. I'm not even mad about it. It cost them a goal. I don't even care because Connor McDavid has built up enough good grace. But by God, we don't need to go after Evan Bouchard for Connor McDavid's mistakes. Just say McDavid made a mistake. It's fine.
I watched that. I obviously watched the game, and not at one point did I think, damn, what are you doing, Evan Bouchard? I thought, come on, McDavid, you got to kind of tie up your guy a bit there. I mean, we're not sitting there. It's not like McDavid's making those mistakes every night, so it's forgivable, I suppose. I'm more pissed off about the Draisaitl thing.
Really?
Just like when he did. Just get on side, man. Like, it's just kind of like show a bit of urgency. And then I think there was a great pass by Bouchard to Yamo there to like put him basically clean through. And then Yamo obviously just assuming he's good to go. And then Draisaitl's not off the ice. That frustrated me more than the McDavid not tying him up. Because I think that was just a mistake. And I feel like Draisaitl's is a bit lazy, if you want to call it that.
But he has, like, again, I hate
he does that all the time. I know.
And I hate the lazy Leon narrative because, again, there was one shift yesterday, one forecheck he had where he skated faster than I have, like, ever seen the dude skate. They were going broadcast left to right. So it would have been the first period. And he zoomed in there, and I was like, Jesus, who is that guy?
There was also a point, too, in the third where they were trying to set up like kind of a breakout, and they did like a close up of, it must have been Nurse behind the net who had the puck, and Draisaitl was like gaining speed behind the net. I was like, holy moly, that guy is moving.
But that almost makes it more frustrating when you see him do stuff like that, and you're like, do it when there's more than just a goal on the line. Like, give us that a little bit more.
I think that's, you want to see that. You want to see that for sure. But not going to win every night. And it's not like they came into last night and got destroyed, right? Like, I thought they played okay. I think their offense just fell apart a little bit.
That missed call at the end pissed me off.
I think that was a very dangerous play. And I think I was very deliberate on Fleury.
100% it was. Fleury's dirty like that. He always does shit like that.
And I think, I can't believe NHL isn't looking at it, but I can believe it, but they should be looking at that kind of shit. Like, that. What if that caught Hyman in the eye?
Yeah.
That's a loose stick. That is a loose stick, and that is a very dangerous play.
And also, okay, so you called the penalty earlier on Zuccarello, which, like, it was a penalty, but I thought at that moment in the game, I'm like, ooh, the refs don't usually call that. And then 100%, the reason they don't call it on Hyman is because Minnesota's already down a guy, and Dean Evison's head looks like it's going to pop off on the bench.
100%.
He looked like a cartoon, like there's going to be smoke coming out of his ears.
And that's the frustrating part about it. Like, that is so obvious what just happened there. And you look at Hyman, he's not the guy who's, like, falling down and everything, right? Like, someone's got to do something. And the way your whole body goes down like that too. It's not like you just jerking your head. Like that is clearly some collision was happened there.
Yeah. And it directly impacted his ability to go get the puck, and it potentially killed an offensive chance.
Yeah.
Alex, get that off the screen. This is not tinfoil hat nonsense. This is real. That should have been a penalty, damn it.
Oilers versus the NHL. It's a real thing, Alex. Look it up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to wrap up today's show. New episode of Oilers Nation Radio going to drop in a couple of hours from this very studio. So make sure you look for that wherever you get your podcast from. Hit the like button before you close your window as well. It's a short for Giant Game Day edition of Oilers Nation every day. Shout out to Cornerstone Insurance, Soho, who you can find at sohoyeg.com, and our great friends at the Sports Closet. We'll be back tomorrow noon Mountain Time to hopefully recap Leon Draisaitl winning another election and staying the mayor of Smashville. Enjoy the game tonight.